Well, so let's do the newspapers. I have from Teshi Agblezan. Malik Dabo. Malik.
What's up?
Yeah, bro.
Sorry, good to see you.
How are you?
Oh, no, but
What's the latest on myJoyNews.com?
Well, great news. The news dominating the headlines today are all on the page. All the things that we are producing on TV here are all on the page as
consistently.
Well. Latest consistent news.
Fantastic.
Credible news.
Charlie,
so
credible. Journalists, if they don't have that, then there's a problem.
Absolutely.
And we'll do myJoyNews.com soon. But we have a couple of the newspapers. You want to start with the Daily Graphic?
Let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper, the front page story. So many stories on the front page of the Daily Graphic, which is uncharacteristic of the paper. Today you have more teachers pass licensure examination. That's on page 16. 2,000 petition parliament over tardy girls. Fatherhood is divine calling. Barbados request 375 Ghanaian nurses. And you know, this was in the media in the course of the week. President accepting in principle. Those are the major stories on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Back page have Kotoko, dash hearts, hopes, continental dream, push them out on penalties. And I like this. I was excited yesterday when the story came out and the competitions and the number of people who went to the stadium to watch the match. Exciting. It means that our football can be back. Yeah, definitely. And it looked like the coverage too on TV was very good. The pictures were clean and the football was good as well. So it was a good spectacle. I think that we just need a good publicity for our football and then also some great marketing, it looks like. Even though I saw some of the fallouts of the matches with the pictures of talismans on the waist and also on the chest of some of the players. Yeah, it works, right? Well, even Lionel Messi has tattoos. It works for him, I think. Yeah. He would disagree with you on that. So you have the Finder newspaper.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you go with it, but let me do the Finder. On the front page of the Finder, we have negotiators oppose rescue of kidnapped Canadian girls, fearing their death. But Ghana made it thanks to CCTV footage and strategy, we're told. We also have on the front page of the Finder, Ghana to send 375 qualified nurses to work in Barbados. Well, if we can go to Barbados, then we can go to the UK and the US as well.
So very soon we'll be exporting nurses.
Oh, I think we've always been legally exporting them. Yeah, so. And then we have two other stories for us to get to the government corruption fighter march. According to Dr. Baumi, I had been reading this from the early parts of or the late night yesterday, late evening, and up to this morning. It's been dominating the various platforms. So very interesting coming from Dr. Baumi as well. Every government says that they're on top of corruption. So I don't know who's.
People don't usually believe.
Yeah, but they all, of course, benchmarked by perceptions of the ordinary Ghanaian of vote. NLS e-kiosks to boost cashlight system. Lotto. Well, NLA wants us to start looming, so we'll see how it goes.
Yes, that looming story is on the front page of the Independent.
Oh, it is?
Quite an interesting headline.
Yeah.
Looms on WhatsApp despite Ponzi scheme scare.
Yeah, I decided to test how it works, and I did last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Mahama laments over insecurity in the country. That's on page 2 of the Independent newspaper. Tension brews at Gapte. Ayalolo workers unpaid for over a year. Those are the stories on the front page of the Independent. Back page has only adverts, no story. I think let me do the Daily Statesman newspaper.
Please do.
Ghana to treble tertiary research funding. You know, we've always been having difficulties with our tertiary research, and the university lecturers have been complaining that the state is not making adequate funding available for them to conduct researches.
I think that what the statement wanted to say to triple.
Absolutely.
Ghana to triple.
Absolutely.
Even though, I mean, treble in that. We wanted to triple.
Triple, yes. That's to double it 3 times.
Yeah.
Yes. So, our war on corruption is a match that the story
is there.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia outlining the actions taken by the Akufo-Addo government to deal with corruption. Ghana to export nurses, we have done this. Ghana draws with South Africa in final preparation game for 2019. And Africa Cup of Nations, Sadio suspended for Senegal's opening match. Sadio, the talisman for...
I'm sure from the opening match, from the qualifiers.
From the, yes. And Sadio, that's a big loss for Senegal.
Yeah, Sadio Mane. He's their main man, right? Just won the Champions League with Liverpool.
Absolutely, so, and he was one of the top scorers.
And I was reading, that'll be the early part of yesterday, that when he finally arrived, you know, when you win the Champions League, you're big, so you're giving time to arrive in camp and all that. You go for holidays. So when he was giving, what did they call it? You know, the way you're there and then you walk through or something. A guard of honor.
Okay. Yes.
Whether that was really done.
That's a big loss for them. You know, in the last season in the EPL, himself, Mo Salah, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of Arsenal were the top scorers, 22 goals.
Definitely.
Each of them. So
he's been consistent over the last 3 years. I think that's the most credible part of it.
Such a big loss for them.
So okay, let me just do the daily guide and then the dispatch. Okay, so and then you do these ones. Yes. The rest quickly for us. All right, so I have the daily guide and the dispatch. Has on the front page 375 nurses for Barbados. Nana. Yeah, you know the story of Barbados. Barbados is a chilling country. It's usually an offshore country as far as banking is related, so you tend to have a lot of people putting their money in there. Ghana, Jamaica with visa, even though really, you don't, sometimes when you want to go, you really don't need a visa, but you know, visa on entry, kind of. So, but only that when you want to get there, you have to go through a lot of transits. So that's the whole problem with going to Jamaica. We have Zoom Lion, Ministry of Health, train mosquito fighters, and then we have Auditor General acknowledges.
In the fight against the
no, just an orientation before they began, I believe, mosquito spraying. So.
I hear fight.
Yeah, I know, right? Auditor General acknowledges government supports. And that's a good thing about what's been happening. We have the back page is full of sports. Fatal Dauda is excited that he achieved some success or good success with Enyimba. That's why he plays his club football. And he said Fatal Dauda explains Enyimba's success. Kotoko break hats to set Karela final. We call it the Normalization Committee Cup. Jechi left empty and golf. But let's go to the center spread. I always like looking at that. It's a news one pull out of the daily guide. And coming back from the weekend, we're likely to see some good stories. And this one is good. I have no children, and so what? Uncle Ebo White says, I'm sure concise with
biological children. He does have children.
Yeah, does have children.
Spoken quite extensively about his not having biological children, but he has children. He has had.
I agree.
He has had adopted children that he's taking care of. They've been responsible people. Some of them are lawyers. So I think the proper caption should be, I have no biological children. He does have children.
Yeah, good. I think we should make you the managing editor for the Daily Guide. Or even our good friend, what's his name? We'll remember him. Mo to rescue
Fortune Alimi. I hear he was on this show.
Yeah, Fortune. On the show?
Yes, I hear he was on this show. To talk about the missing target.
Okay. I was off then. I was not well for 6 weeks. So, Hammer talks about punishing big artists, and Yvonne Okoro caught in bed with James Gardner. Don't be loomed. It's because, you know, it's part of. I'm sure it's a movie. I haven't read the story though. Dining. That was the title of the movie. Now we have Cuba Gooden Jr. Charged in alleged groping incidents, but there's been a CCTV footage that seemed to have absolved him of any blame at all, so that's a good thing. But that will be it for now. Let's
CCTV to the rescue.
Yeah, I know, right? We're told that CCTV played instrumental roles in us getting the kidnapped girls back. So. CCTV to the rescue. The Daily Dispatch newspaper is our next one. Why double track system will be abolished in 3 months. Research showed it was unpopular. Here's an attack picture of the president. An edited police report on the arrest of kidnappers is on page 2 of the paper, The Daily Dispatch. Full list of central regions, 35 festivals, and 10 forts and castles. All of us need this knowledge. If you haven't had some good reading on the subject. Well, Health Minister blames Finance Ministry for problems of psychiatric hospitals, and it's a big issue. Overcrowding and consistently and not getting the right sort of education and mental health, quality mental health care. We know that in other countries, community psychiatry is a way to go, but in ours,
I think we don't even take psychiatric health seriously.
Yeah, we don't.
Mental health seriously.
Because many of us are depressed.
So many.
Me, for example, I've been depressed.
Sure?
Yeah.
You don't look it. You don't sound it.
Oh, so that's the problem. That's why it's a problem, because you don't even know that I'm depressed.
Yeah. I don't believe you anyway. The Ghanaian Times newspaper, sad story, tragedy. 7 died, 48 injured in Kobodumasi accident. We are still continuing with this in attention to accidents. Pokwasi interchange redesigned into 4-tier. You know that the Pokwasi area creates a lot of traffic on that lane. That creates problems for the people going towards Nsawam. Nsawam, as the proper pronunciation is, I see Nsawam.
Yeah, Nsawam.
So, President consider Barbados request for 37. We've done this. EC begins limited voters registration today. You know that EC has been given a clearance. There is one Ayuba who went to the Supreme Court seeking to place an interim injunction, what the lawyers call the interlocutory injunction on the EC's limited voter registration. Now the EC has been given all clear to do that because the case has been dismissed. Of course, the substantive case is yet to be heard, but until then, the EC is allowed to go forward with his limited voter registration, which he says he's going to do according to district offices.
But they're still going by the same modus operandi. Yes, one registration center in each constituency.
In each, district offices, and then select areas, select electoral areas as well. That's what Ayuba was contesting in court. He said that it was going to disenfranchise some people.
Yeah, because trooping to those areas will mean that, because if you go outside Accra, it's really a difficulty trying to get to destinations.
So that's why they are using what they call these mobile systems that they will use to difficult to access areas. That's what the Electoral Commission has said. Remember, they paid a courtesy call on us.
Well, we'll monitor and see whether they really do that.
Send these mobile devices to difficult to access areas where they can register.
Difficult to access areas.
So they don't have to go to their district offices. So in areas where you need a canoe to be able to move across the water body to go to the district office, they will bring you a mobile registration device so that you can register in that area. Back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper has Taylor strike puts Ash goal to the sword. Kotoko knockout Hearts meet Karela in grand final of Normalization Committee Tier 1. And I don't get tired reading this Kotoko beating Hearts. So
I'm a Kotoko fan though, but I want our football to thrive. I don't know. There's something about the fallout from the whole ANAS investigations and how we thought that we should have fast-tracked our football and to get it going. It looks like over a year on, because it's actually 13 months since that incident took place. Yes, and it looks like, I don't know, we don't seem to have gotten it going.
Well, the Normalization Committee, we tell you, is putting in its best. The football watchers,
but that's the problem, right?
The best is good enough. It just seems that our football has been in a very difficult position, which is the reason why we are where we are. Even though there is hunger for football in this town, so many people love the game. A lot of people are passionate about football. If you look at the popularity of the EPL, the La Liga, the Serie A and Bundesliga and all of these leagues, even on the local level, the Champions League, there are thousands of people who were following JoyNews and all of our brands were airing the final. You can sense that there's a lot of hunger for football in this country.
And I know. So people chose to listen to radio instead of watch TV. It shows that they were crazy about football.
A lot enjoyed George Adejuna and Gary Al Smith's commentary. Epic commentary there. The Herald newspaper has Akufo-Addo's government and the NPP caught in trap set for Ofusu Ampofu. Sami Wuku begs for non-politicization of crime. Parliament presides over naked slavery as unpaid MPs research assistants threaten Domo. Deputy IGP denies sabotaging his boss. Back page full of adverts, nothing else there. The Ghanaian Observer newspaper has families negotiated with kidnappers on the blind side of state security. Kukubaku in the case of Nkrumah. You know that Kujopo Nkrumah, when he held the press conference to talk about the rescue of the Canadian girls, he was asked a question, and he said there was no discussion of ransom between the kidnappers, the alleged kidnappers, and the state security. Subsequently, when the prosecutors,
but rather the
prosecutors appeared in court, and they said that there was the kidnappers demanded a certain amount of ransom. Some persons then took that to suggest that the information minister lied. In fact, it turned out that the ransom was not, in fact, discussed with the state security. It was rather discussed with the families of the girls. And therefore, the information minister was right.
Yeah, and also some credible information I had was that when the girls were traveling to Ghana, you know, their families decided to take insurance on kidnapping on their behalf. So when the incident happened, they got in touch with their families, who then went to inform the insurance companies. So there was some sort of negotiation. I'm told that they negotiated, instead of the $800,000 that was asked for, about $47,000. Is the problem is that the kidnappers just refused to take it. If they had taken it, I'm sure everything would have been fine, and they would have had some good bargains. But at the end of which is a crime all the same.
But which is a good lesson. Greed. When you're overly greedy, this is what happens.
Well,
I'm sure if they had taken the money and had simply released the girls, they may have gotten away with some 47, almost 50,000.
Yeah, they didn't want it.
Money,
yeah,
more than
that's the whole problem.
250,000 Ghana cedis. But they wanted more, didn't they?
I'm just worried that, you know, if some credence is given to these, then it becomes consistently like a good trade for people.
Absolutely.
To, yeah. So it means that a minister could be, or a rich man in a certain area could be kidnapped. It becomes almost like, that's what happens in Nigeria regularly. It's
a motivating factor. You remember this Nigerian engineer who came to Ghana and went to Takoradi to do some work, who was live tweeting his experiences in Ghana, and he was talking about
he had
seen in Ghana, and he was shocked that foreigners and expatriates had the audacity to be jogging on the streets.
And that didn't happen in Nigeria, I remember.
And he said that's ransom just jogging in front of him. That's why he said, you know, Nigerians and their characteristic humor. But, I mean, the things he was live tweeting about, the fact that we have stable power and all of that, the things which are good about this country, which we take for granted, but also the things that we have to watch. And so when he was talking about expatriates having the audacity to
so we have approximately about 5 to 6, 7 minutes. If we can pick an issue and then.
So let me deal with the electoral commission.
That's what we want to discuss.
Register. I think that this is an important matter. The electoral commission decided that it was going to engage in limited voters register. The EC does this almost all the time when we are heading towards election, particularly in years when we are not conducting full compilation or a compilation of an entirely new register. The EC engages in these limited voters registration, and it's essentially for two things. For persons who did not attain the age of 18 the last time the voter register was compiled, and persons who for some other reason did not get the opportunity to register to vote. These limited registrations are meant for those persons, so that if you had not attained the age of 18 where you are qualified to vote, by the time we compile the last voters register, which was used for the 2016 elections, now you can go and register to become a voter, so that in the next election next year you can vote. Also, if for some other reason, either you were too busy or you were unavailable to go and register the last time the voter register was being compiled, which means your name is not on the voters register, you can now take advantage of the limited registration to go and register. The EC intended to do this from 7th June to 21st June, which was for a period of 3 weeks. That's when the EC intended to do this. But somebody, Ayuba Abdullah, went to court, and he went to court essentially saying that the EC's decision to limit this to district offices was meant to disenfranchise many people, and so he didn't think it was proper. He went to court asking that the EC should be ordered to expand it, but before the substantive matter was heard at the High Court, he went to the Supreme Court asking for an injunction. He wanted an interlocutory injunction, and usually the lawyers will explain interlocutory injunction as seeking to stop a conduct which will make the purpose of your legal argument in a substantive matter moot. So, for example, if I have a house, you and I contest over the house. I say I own the house, you say you own the house, and then you go and bring a bulldozer to pull down the house. I can go to go to court and seek an interlocutory injunction, which is stopping you from pulling down the house until we appear before an impartial judge and make an argument and produce documents to show who actually owns the house, who has title to the land on which the house was.
Well, so now we've moved forward from this, and the EC can now begin.
Absolutely. So
now,
the Supreme Court dismissed.
Earlier, you made mention of the fact that the EC, for want of a better word, and for those who were curious whether they could have people disenfranchised or not, make available mobile vans, and that will complement the normal
district offices that they are going to conduct this
brick and mortar institution.
So if you live in an area where it is difficult to travel to the district office where you can register as part of the limited registration, the EC says it is making these mobile.
How are we going to monitor
available? Well, so the EC itself, it knows. The EC knows this country better than many, because it's been conducting these elections. You have the director of operations who is in charge. They know all the areas where it is difficult to access the district offices. Therefore, they have taken out these registration kits, dusted and cleaned them, and prepared them, and they've actually recruited the people who will go to these areas where they can conduct the voting.
And it's starting today.
If, for example, you are in Accra and there's a district office, you cannot say that it's difficult to access. But if you live in Pandai and you cannot go across the river to go to the place where the district office is located, they will bring you a mobile registration kit where you can register.
Well, we hope that we get this going in earnest. And for those who are living, far away from where we have the normal offices, they will get the opportunity to get to register. That's the most consistent of all the issues. Our time is up, but we have about 10 minutes, and I wanted to pick your thoughts on this. The concerns that have been raised by ordinary Ghanaians following the report of the kidnappings. You've seen that for us, the media. We've always headlined them Nigerians, Nigerians. There's a concern I have, even though we know that sometimes we tend to have Nigerians and other foreign nationals who may have been reported to be involved, but they're also Ghanaian involved. And I think that we have to be as impartial as possible in reporting some of these things, because it looks like there seems to be too much eye on the Nigerian to be, but we have very good Nigerians as well. Because I'm saying this because over the weekend there was this Nigerian who was said to have been a suspect in a kidnapping of a 4-year-old because there was a car waiting, etc. And he was really manhandled or beaten by the crowd.
Roland, we have this tendency to declare people guilty even before they are put before a court. And all of the lynchings that we have experienced in this country, unfortunate as they are, have been as a result of that. We profile people, and when they look a certain way or they have a certain accent, we think they are criminals. And of course, you can't begrudge Ghanaians who believe that these kidnappings are perpetrated by a certain category of people. Largely because, first of all, of their own country history, that these kidnappings happened there. Secondly, because a large number of the people who have been arrested or have been reported to have been engaged in previous cases of kidnapping in this country have all been.
So there's been precedent.
Absolutely.
But it's not fair.
There is John Orji, who has been arrested in Togo. He's been put before court. There is one Wales who has also been arrested in respect of the 3 Tadi girls. Both of these have been Nigerians. The 8 who were arrested in respect of a Canadian girl, 3 of them are Nigerians. So,
but they were Ghanaians as well.
I agree, but that gives a certain credence when you tie that in with the fact that kidnapping has not been a known crime in Ghana, and the president made that point previously. It is in Nigeria that everyone is aware this happens. And I remember listening to the BBC and hearing a chief talking about having been kidnapped and dumped in a place where he said mosquitoes were his friends. And this is a village chief who had been kidnapped and ransom was demanded. So it is because of that history that you can't begrudge the Ghanaians who feel that the kidnapping is a crime which is being perpetrated in Ghana largely by Nigerians. It doesn't make it right, but you can't begrudge the people.
Well, we hope that we'll be able to distinguish. And when the security forces are able to, identify and subsequently do the prosecution, then we can make those opinions well known as fact. Not just try to brandish every Nigerian who suspiciously is involved in any of these to be a perpetrator, so to speak. But that'll be it for the headlines this morning. I've enjoyed the conversation so far. I wish you well for the rest of the day. We wanted to look at the stories posted on myjoyonline.com, but we can't. We just bring you a snapshot of how it looks like on the front page, and then we'll make time for some sports on the show. And this how we have myjoyonline.com currently, and you can get all the latest on the match between Kotoko, Hearts of Oak. We also have various audios there, Papaya Wasante writing the blessing of a father, and all the the good things we can say about Father's Day. And MPP didn't promise not to borrow. Baku challenges NDC. Already, I've seen the sponsor page of KZL Atuforsen on Facebook, which is already broadcasting, if not splashing audio visual of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia when he was expressing that in one of his statements and interactions. And well, you can go onto Facebook, go look for KCL Atuforsen's page, and you get to have the update as well. But that'll be it for the latest. Look, let's bring you the latest sports headlines. We're also going to come to you live with the latest from the camp of the Black Stars. But as Aribedia Queens, the sports team, he'll bring us sports. Stay with us.